Good afternoon. If I could have everyone's attention, please. This is Kurt Beckett calling the September 17th meeting of the Energy Facility Siting Council to order. It's 1:32 p.m. And Ms. Barker, if you could call the roll, please.
Certainly. Department of Commerce.
Elizabeth Osborne, present.
Department of Ecology.
Eli Levitt, present.
Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Nate Pamplin, present.
Department of Natural Resources. Utilities and Transportation Commission.
Stacy Brewster, present.
Local government and optional state agencies for the Hop Hill Project, Paul Crouppen. For the Carriger Solar Project, Matt Childs.
Matt Childs, present.
For the Wallula Gap Project, Adam File. For the GoldenEye Best Project, Robbie Eckroth. Assistant Attorney Generals, John Thompson.
Present.
Zach Packer.
Present.
Talia Tewitt.
Present.
For FSEC staff, I will call those anticipated to speak today. Amy Hoffgemeyer.
Present.
Amy Moon.
Present.
Sarah Randolph.
Present.
Sean Green.
Present.
John Barnes.
Present.
Joanne Snarsky. Here. For operational updates, Kittitas Valley Wind Project. Wild Horse Wind Power Project.
Jennifer Galbraith, present.
Grays Harbor Energy Center.
Pace, present.
Chehalis Generation Facility. Columbia Generating Station.
Josh Laporte, present.
Columbia Solar.
Elizabeth Drockenberg, present.
Goose Prairie Solar.
Nelson Jap, present.
Austria Solar.
John Volts, present.
Is there anyone online for the Council of the Environment?
Sarah Reineveld is present.
Chair, there is a quorum for all councils.
Thank you very much. Council members, we have a proposed agenda before us. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
Mr. Chair, this is Nate Pamplin. I move that we approve the agenda.
Thank you, Council. Is there a second?
Stacy Brewster, second.
Thank you, Council. The agenda has been moved and seconded, is on the table. Are there any comments or changes to the agenda from the council? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 Opposed? Agenda's approved. Moving on to approval of minutes. Council, we have the minutes before us. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Elizabeth Osborne, so moved.
Thank you, Council. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Council Pamplin. The minutes are on the table. Are there any changes or amendments to the minutes from Council?
This is Stacy Brewster. I have one change.
Please.
On page 27, line 24, the word is needs should be changed to meets, M-E-E-T-S.
Thank you, Council Brewster. Are there other, I'm sure that will be taken as a friendly amendment. Are there any other comments or changes? Okay, then hearing none, we will treat that suggestion as a friendly amendment, and all in favor of approving the minutes as amended, please say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Minutes are approved. Thank you. Moving on to our project updates. Kittitas Valley Wind Project. Mr. Castay.
Yes, good afternoon, Chair Beckett, FSEC Council and staff. I'm sorry that I did not call roll call, but this is Jared Cassidy with EDP Renewables for the Kittitas Valley Wind Power Project, and we had nothing non-routine to report for the period.
Thank you. Moving on to the Wild Horse Wind Power Project. Ms. Gilbraith?
Yes.
Call
Thank
brief.
you, Chair Beckett, council members, and FSEC staff. This is Jennifer Galbraith from Puget Sound Energy, representing the Wild Horse Wind Facility. I have a few updates for this reporting period. First, the Wild Horse Technical Advisory Committee met on August 21st for the annual meeting. The meeting was held jointly with the Wild Horse Coordinated Resource Management Group to review history, agreements, processes, and results of grazing management since inception of the Wild Horse CRM in 2006. This was an informational meeting. There were no items that required formal actions or recommendations from the TAC for the council's consideration. For the second update, as requested in a letter received from Amy Hafkemeyer, FSEC Director of Siting and Compliance, PSE provided a status update on our plans to install FAA-approved light mitigating technology at Wild Horse in accordance with new legislative requirements to reduce light pollution at wind energy facilities in Washington State. As required by the RCW, PSE will apply to the FAA prior to January 1st, 2028, and will install a new light mitigating system within 24 months of receiving FAA approval. And for the final update, as of today, there has been no change to the damaged wind turbine tower initially reported to the council on July 14th. We continue to monitor the turbine 24/7 and are developing plans to safely decommission the tower following the wildfire season. Emergency responders remain on standby in the event of tower failure, and the site will remain closed to the public access for the remainder of 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the update. Any questions or comments from the council? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to Chehalis Generation Facility. Mr. Smith and Randolph, Sarah Randolph.
Thank you. Chair Beckett, council members, and staff. For the record, this is Sarah Randolph, Site Specialist for Chehalis. The facility update is provided in your packet. Last month, it was discussed that the flow level of the Chehalis River, the facility's water source, had dropped below 165 cubic feet per second. With enough rainfall, the facility was able to resume withdrawal of water that they did not need to purchase water to maintain operations. As a result, a special council meeting to take up action to approve purchase of water from the city was not needed. Staff met with Chehalis facility to develop a plan for anticipating council action during periods of low river flow. The facility will notify FSEC as soon as they begin using their reserves, giving us earlier notice than in the past. Staff will also communicate with the facility periodically while reserves are being used to track the potential need for council action. This approach will be used for the next 2 to 3 years. However, if the plan proves insufficient, staff will reopen discussions with the facility and may propose addressing the issue through an amendment to the Site Certification Agreement, or the SCA. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I don't believe we had Jeremy Smith with us today. I just wanted to confirm.
I didn't hear him on the line.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. And thank you again for the update. Moving on to Grays Harbor Energy Center. Eric, Mr. Pace, if you're on, as well as then followed by Sarah Randolph again.
Good afternoon, Chair Beckett, FSEC Council and staff. Eric Pace reporting for Grays Harbor. Grays Harbor Energy does not have anything non-routine to report, period.
Thank you, Mr. Pace. Ms. Randolph?
Yes. Chair Beckett, council members and staff, for the record again, this is Sarah Randolph, Site Specialist for Grays Harbor. The facility update is provided in your packet. There are 2 items that will be discussed for the council. First is the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, or NPDES, permit renewal. And second is the Air Operating Permit, or the AOP renewal. FSEC received NPDES permit renewal application from the facility on December 17th, 2023, and permit ending June 30th, 2024, and has continued to operate under an administrative extension, which was approved by FSEC for the previous NPDES permit in accordance with Washington Administrative Code, or WAC, 173, 220, 180. Grace Harbor submitted an engineering report, which was followed by several rounds of review and coordination between the FSEC staff and the facility. FSEC approved the engineering report on April 2nd and have been working with our contractor at Ecology to develop the NPDES renewal permit. Staff have made a tentative determination to issue the following public comment. We'll bring the comments and documents to council for vote on final issuance after the comment period. Staff recommend that the comment period begins on September 29th and continue for 30 days, ending at close of business on October 28th. A public meeting is not planned for this comment period. Historically, public meetings for the facilities permits have not been attended by the public, and a meeting is not required. However, we will have one if requested. If there are any questions on any technical aspects of the permit, our contractors with Ecology are here and able to address any concerns.
Council, any question or comment? Double check on my screen here again, since we have some of our members online. Okay, I don't think so. So moving
Okay.
on, and thank you, Ms. Randolph.
Yes, I'll continue on for the air operating permit or AOP. Yes. Sorry.
No, good.
The AOP first certification was issued by FSEC July 17th, 2024. The AOP renewal application was submitted on December 11th, 2024, adding in the acid rain permit in with the Title V AOP permit, ending June 17, 2025, and continue to operate under administrative extension. The acid rain permit contains the statement of basis, SO2 allowances allocated under this permit, and NOx requirements for each affected unit. Comments, notes, and justifications regarding permit decisions and changes made to the permit application, and any additional requirements or conditions as per WAC 173-406-501, acid rain permit contents, as adopted by WAC 46378. The permit application submitted for this source per WAC 173-406-106 standard requirements as adopted by WAC 46378. The owners and operators of the source must comply with the standard requirements and special provisions set forth in the application. In accordance with WAC 46378, general and operating permit regulations for air pollution sources, which adopts WAC 173-406, acid rain regulation, and WAC 173-401, operating permit regulation, is based on the provisions of Title 40 Code of Federal Regulations, or CFR, Parts 72 through 76, which is part of the Title IV of the Clean Air Act. In accordance with WAC 173-406-103, combustion turbine generator number 1, or CTG1, and CTG2 are utility units because they serve generators greater than 25 megawatts and do not qualify for any of the exemptions provided under the WAC 173-406-103. As such, they are subject to the acid rain requirements under WAC 173-406. In coordination with the Olympic Region Clean Air Agency, or ORCA, staff have reviewed the application materials. Staff are finalizing documents to put out for public comment and anticipate it to go out for public comment on October 6th. Following public comment period, staff will bring the comments and documents to council. If no substantive comments, then it will go to the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, for EPA to review for 45 days. Once the EPA has concluded their review, staff will bring the permit back to the council to vote for issuance. If there are any questions on any technical aspects of the permit, our contractors from Orca are here and able to address any concerns.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Randolph.
Thank you.
Council, any questions or further feedback for the staff? Appreciate the thorough update. Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on to Columbia Solar.
Good
Ms.
afternoon,
Drachenberg.
Chair, FSEC Council, and staff. This is Elizabeth Drachenberg, Columbia Solar. There are no non-routine updates to report for this period.
Thank you. Moving on to the Columbia Generating Station and WNP 1 and 4, and my understanding is Josh Laporte is with us to give the update today.
That's correct, Chair Beckett. Thank you. Good afternoon, FSEC Council and staff. This is Josh Laporte for the Columbia Generating Station and Washington Nuclear Projects 1 and 4. The facilities update is included in your packet for both sites, and there are no additional non-routine updates to report for the month of August for either site.
Okay, and I just want to acknowledge the staff's update as well on some of the previous environmental issues at the last meeting. I assume we had nothing further on that, but let me just double check with Ms. Hofgemeyer.
That's correct.
Okay, that concludes the update then, unless there were questions from the council. Seeing none, moving on then to Goose Prairie. Mr. Gia.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Nelson, providing an update for the month of August. Total generation approximately 21,667 megawatt hours. And on some positive news, all of our inverters on site were fully available for the month of August. So we were able to fix our AC breaker issue, which was nice. Otherwise, no other updates from an environmental safety compliance perspective. Thank you.
Very well. Other comments? Hearing none, we will move on to Austria Solar. Mr. Volz.
Thank you, Chair Beckett. Council members and staff, this is John Volz with Cypress Creek Renewables, representing Austria Solar Project. In the month of August, construction progressed in full. All scopes are underway. We received the last of the solar modules. Those have all been delivered out. The main power transformer is on site, set on the pad, preparing for the dress and testing there. We also received all of the inverters. All 22 have arrived and been set on the pad. So we are continuing with install and proceeding toward mechanical completion. Other than that, nothing non-routine to report for the period.
Thank you, Mr. Volz. I would call out one item that was in the monthly update that I thought was bearing calling out, which was just in terms of local outreach as I would call it, a newer neighbor into Yakima County. The project had found time amidst its construction schedule to participate in the back to school drive for Yakima County schools, and just thought that was worth noting here in the public session. So appreciate Cypress Creek's effort in that regard. Unless there's other comments, questions, we will move on to Carriger Solar, and Ms. Snarsky is here to provide an update on that project, including, I will note for the public that our intent is to signal the process in other upcoming public comment periods. Some of that is a little bit in flux still, I believe, but we'll hear from Ms. Snarsky and she'll fill in the details. So
I'll do my best. Good afternoon, Chair Beckett and council members. For the record, this is Joanne Snarsky, the siting specialist for the proposed Carriger Solar facility in Klickitat County. On June 25th, 2025, the council voted to send a recommendation to approve the Carriger Solar Facility Site Certification Agreement and was subsequently sent to the governor for review. On August 22nd, 2025, Governor Ferguson provided a letter to Chair Beckett directing the council to reconsider certain aspects of the draft site certification agreement. The governor outlined the following actions for FSEC to take. First, FSEC should give the Yakima Nation an opportunity to review and provide input on the June 19th, 2025 memorandum from the FSEC chair to the FSEC council members describing the chair and the staff's June 4th, 2025 meeting with the tribe. Second, FSEC should give the Yakima Nation an opportunity to provide further input on the following 5 mitigation measures. On the increased setbacks of fencing and solar panels from SR 142 and Knight Road, the increased setbacks on fencing and solar panels on both north and south side of the Department of Natural Resources managed parcel, the installation of further screening tools such as earthen berms, rock piles, or native vegetation to further mitigate visual impacts to the users of the north side of the adjacent state-owned parcel, the DNR parcel. The traffic control plan as required in the SCA, the Site Certification Agreement, to ensure the tribe has access to its TCPs and that they are maintained throughout construction. Finally, the 5th mitigation is that FSEC will include Yakima Nation in the review of the initial site restoration and the detailed site restoration plans as required in the SCA. In response to the governor's request, on August 26, 2025, Chair Beckett sent a letter to Chairman Gerald Lewis of the Yakima Nation Tribal Council. Chair Beckett requested the tribe review all of the actions I just described and sent along all of the supporting documentation for that review. In that letter, we requested that the Yakima Nation respond to these requests by September 26th in order to meet a 60-day timeline that was identified by the governor. Following receipt of additional comments from the Yakima Nation, staff will review and develop response documents or revisions to the draft site certification agreement as appropriate. We expect these decisional documents to be posted for public comment in early October and are currently targeting a comment period from October 6th through October 19th. Staff are proposing a special council meeting on October 21st for the purposes of council action, and we will provide required public notice for this meeting once these details unfold and are available. That's all I have for now.
Thank you. So just for the clarity of the record, but for those who may be watching in public, the intended comment period is October 6th through the 19th. That will be published officially. So what I just stated is not yet in the record officially, but that's our intent. And so we wanted to signal that as early as we could here in our public meeting today. So council, were there other questions, comments you wanted to share as a group and or back to the staff? Ms. Pamplin?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Snarsky, is the council's decision in June to recommend approval of this project to the governor, since the governor wrote a letter and said he hadn't approved it yet, and laid out a number of conditions, is there an action that we need to take relative to our June decision, or does that decision essentially kind of die on the vine until we act again at the October meeting?
I think that's kind of a legal question. Maybe John would better be suited to answer.
Yeah, Councilmember Pamplin, I'd be happy to answer that. The section of RCW 8050, the FSEC enabling statutes, that talks about the steps that happen with regard to the council making a recommendation to the governor and then the governor's options thereafter. It basically allows the governor to request that the council reconsider certain aspects of the site certification agreement, and then thereafter, depending on what decision the council makes, to return the site certification agreement with any revisions that you make. It doesn't talk about amending the recommendation or anything of that sort. It's just the only thing that the statute speaks to is just returning the site certification agreement that the governor has asked you to reconsider parts of. So, so the recommendation, I wouldn't say it died on the vine. It's you've made your recommendation, and then this is just a follow-on process to focus in on certain aspects of it and decide whether you want to change them at the governor's request, and then make those amendments to the SCA if you choose to do so. Oh, does that answer your
Yeah,
question?
thanks to you both. I wasn't trying to, please don't infer into the substance of the question. It was just a policy process question relative to an action FSEC took, and then do we need to kind of unring that bell or just or essentially ring it again after we see we have the meeting on October 21st. So thank you.
Well, yeah, if I can follow up, Councilmember Pamplin, yeah, I think it's a good practice and advisable for you to explain what you've done in response to the governor's direction, and the form that would generally take is a council resolution. So that would explain, just explain what you've done, what you've chosen to do or not do with respect to the terms of the SCA. I think that would be
So it'd be a revised SCA or an amended SCA at that time.
Correct.
Thanks.
If I could add, staff are anticipating developing a resolution to capture the process we're engaging in right now, and proposing that would go for public comment and council review, along with, should there be any appropriate revisions to the SCA, both of those would be provided together, depending on what ultimately comes back as comments from Yakima Nation, which remains to be seen. And so the resolution is our plan to sort of capture this process, and then any changes or additions to an SCA would also be put out for public comment as well.
Great, thank you.
And I would just add that was Amy Hoffmeyer from the FSEC staff, just for the benefit of our minutes. So thank you for the added context, Amy. Other questions or comments from the Carriger Council? Okay. Hearing none, let me double check with Adrian that we don't have online hands. I don't see. Okay. All right, then we will move on to the Hop Hill Solar Project. Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Chair Beckett and council members. This is John Barnes, FSEC staff for the Hop Hill application. FSEC staff are awaiting from the applicant supplemental materials concerning project enlargement. These materials are needed for a SEPA review and determination for this project. Once supplemental materials are received, we will continue to coordinate and review the application with our contractor, contracted agencies, and tribal governments. Are there any questions?
Council, questions on Hop Hill? It's kind of an interim update, obviously. So, seeing none, we will move on to Wallula Gap. Also, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Chair Beckett and council members. This is John Barnes, FSEC staff for the Wallula Gap application. Staff are working with the applicant to complete supplemental wetland report materials. Staff are also working with the applicant to identify additional analysis and mitigation following receipt of the TCP study from the Yakima Nation Cultural Resource Program staff. Are there any questions?
Comments? Hearing none, we will move on to the GoldenEye Battery Storage Project. Ms. Snarsky.
Thank you. Again, this is Joanne Snarsky, the siting specialist for the proposed GoldenEye Battery Energy Storage Facility in Skagit County. Most notably, Chair Beckett and project staff members will be traveling to meet with the Upper Skagit Indian Tribe for government-to-government consultation. The meeting is a special meeting for the Tribal Council, specifically to consult with FSEC on GoldenEye Energy Storage Project. It is worth noting during the scheduling of this consultation, FSEC made sure the Upper Skagit Tribe was aware that Chair Beckett has recused himself from deliberations and voting on the Council's recommendation to the Governor on the GoldenEye BEST project, Energy Storage Project. The tribe confirmed that they did not object to the Chair Beckett representing FSEC Council for this consultation. Acting Chair Brewster will be in attendance, and staff will work with her to develop communications to the council following the Monday meeting. I don't think I mentioned the date, but the date is next Monday, the 22nd, September 22nd. Finally, staff are continuing to work with our partnering agencies to review and seek information on the application for site certification. I have no further updates.
Thank you for the updates. I would just add, as the chair who's recused myself on this project in this instance, that Acting Chair Brewster, the two of us attending that meeting in this instance, Acting Chair Brewster will be the chair by which that input and consultation back to the council for Golden IBES will be provided by Acting Chair Brewster. So just wanted to add that for clarity for the record. Are there other questions or comments on the GoldenEye battery storage project? Any from our local representative? I don't see any hands. Okay. Then we will move on to our transmission programmatic environmental impact statement, and Mr. Green will provide us the update.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Beckett and council members. This is Sean Green, SEPA Specialist for FSEC. FSEC staff and our consultant WSP are busy at work putting together the final revisions to the transmission programmatic EIS with an anticipated publication date for the final programmatic EIS in early October of this year. Are there any questions?
Council, any further questions? I know there is a general intent to continue to do some further outreach. I'm sorry if I missed a piece in my ear from your update just now, but that there is an intent to do some integrated outreach, including with the Department of Ecology, knowing they have their 3 programmatic environmental impact statements out as well. And so I just want to thank the staff of both agencies for at times what is an added bit of work to try and have that integrated engagement, and look forward to just seeing how that ultimately plays out, including what I would call who are potential first movers that would help us understand how did we do on the effectiveness of the programmatics, which are a lot of work just to bring forward. So I want to thank everybody for that as well. So
Yes, thank you. We do anticipate doing further outreach in concert with the Department of Ecology once the final programmatic EIS is published, and we anticipate continuing our engagement efforts with tribal representatives as projects begin to use the programmatic EIS to make sure that it is being used in a manner that is as designed.
Appreciate that. I would encourage that for sure. Okay, then we will move on to our Horse Heaven Wind Farm project, which will have an update, but first and soon we will be recessing to executive session, which I'll speak to in more detail in a moment. But Ms. Hofkmeyer or Ms. Moon, are there any opening comments you wanted to make before we recess into executive session?
Not at this time, no, thank you.
Okay.
I don't have any, thank you.
Okay, so just for clarity of the public, there will be a further project update upon our return to our public forum here. And for the record, at this time, the council will be recessing to executive session for 30 minutes. It's now 2:05. As allowed in the Open Public Meeting Act's provision on executive session to discuss litigation to which the party agency is a party with FSEC's legal counsel. This is necessary to avoid disclosing attorney-client advice and attorney work product pertaining to the decisions before the council that are subject to litigation. The first part of this discussion will be about the Horse Heaven project litigation, and the second part pertains to a recently filed petitions for judicial review of the council's amendment to its delegation of authority policy for plans submitted under site certification agreements. Due to my original recusal from this project, Horse Heaven, and the partial connection of the delegation policy to Horse Heaven, for which I've also recused myself out of an abundance of caution, I will not participate in the executive session discussion except as an observer. Any decisions of these issues in general will be made in the council's open public meeting per statute. There are no intended decisions on any of these issues for today, just for clarification as well. So with that, we will recess into executive session and we'll return at 2:40. So the next public meeting will not begin until at least 2:40. So thank you. Good afternoon. This is FSEC Council Chair Beckett. Just noting we are gathering back in here, and I will note at 2:41 we have gavelled back into our regular public session. I'll get my computer back open here as well. Do we have everyone online that we started with, Ms. Barker? Okay. So with that, let me return us to our Horse Heaven project briefing. And I believe Ms. Moon will kick us off in the project update, and Ms. Hoffmeyer may well soon join in along the way. So I'll turn this over to both of you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council Chair Beckett and FSEC Council members. I, Amy Moon, am reporting on the Horse Heaven Wind Project in Benton County. At the August 20th Council meeting, Sean Green, the State Environmental Policy Act Specialist, provided a presentation and information on the Pre-Operational Technical Advisory Group, otherwise known as the PTAG, PTAG. He provided information on the Species 5 recommendation. As presented by Mr. Green, Species 5 has prescriptive mitigation requirements that do not allow the siting of primary project components within 0.6 miles of a documented ferruginous hawk nest, and within 2 miles of a documented ferruginous hawk nest unless the nesting site is no longer available or the foraging habitat within 2 miles of the nest is no longer viable, with the exception of the East Battery Energy Storage System, or BESS, BESS, that is specifically exempted. At the August Council meeting, Mr. Green presented the certificate holder's recommendation, which included recommendations associated with 6 nests, of which the recommendations were not supported unanimously by the PTAG. The August 20th Council meeting closed with open mitigation questions for the Council. We are here today to offer FSEC staff recommendations regarding Species 5 mitigation and to request the Council make a determination on the Species 5 mitigation criteria for the nest areas, including the group of 39 where the PTAG reached consensus, and those where consensus was not reached, which are represented by the letters A, B, C, D, E, and F on the confidential figures that you all, Council, have. So please refer to the confidential figures provided in the Council SharePoint that's at your disposal, and use these letters in your discussions. Staff also provided a summary document to the Council that may be useful for reference. Are there any questions on those provided documents? Okay, thank you. FSEC staff recommend applying the buffer unanimously recommended by the PTAG for the 39 nests that are identified in the facilitator report and recommendation from the certificate holder. Is there any discussion on that or questions?
None at this time, it appears.
All right. Thank you. As the certificate holder is not proposing primary infrastructure within the 0 to 0.6 or 1 kilometer to 2 mile buffer of nest A, the Council does not need to make a determination on this nest at this time. However, if the Council would like to make a determination on this nest, staff recommend that primary infrastructure be allowed within the 0.6 to 2 mile buffer. Are there any discussion or questions on that?
Council Brewster.
This is Stacy Brewster. Is there a benefit to making a decision on that at this point? If no determination is needed, perhaps it can be held off.
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, Councilmember Brewster. As I see it, because there's no micro-siting corridor for turbines or any primary infrastructure that's currently approved in that area, in the radius of that, the certificate holder would need to come back and amend the SCA to allow for that. So it could be, this question would only really become relevant if and when that were to occur. So if you don't have to make that decision, I would recommend that you not make that decision.
Thanks.
Any further questions on that? I'll move forward. So staff recommend applying the 2-mile buffer for nests represented by letters B, C, D, E, and F. And based on a council discussion, staff will prepare a draft resolution. Once you guys have a discussion and respond to us on your outcome of that discussion, I can prepare a draft resolution to the council. And so I want to leave it open right now for you to discuss the nests at B, C, D, E, and F, and that recommendation to apply a 2-mile buffer. Have any questions on that?
And the 39 nests in Nest
Oh,
A.
yes, and the 39 nests in Nest A. Or, I mean, Circle A, yeah.
We would request that the council make a determination on the application of species 5 for all 45 nests that are, for 44 of the 45 nests that are subject to species 5.
If I may add, I don't think we're certainly not looking for a final decision today. I think what staff's looking for is just, if the council is comfortable with discussing initial thoughts on this, just to get a sense of where the opinion of the council members are at this point. That would help with drafting a decisional document for a decision at a subsequent meeting.
That's correct. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, thanks, John, for putting it so clearly.
Other council members, comments or feedback for the staff at this point? Councilman Pamplin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this point, I'm very comfortable with the resolution bring forward to the council as you've described, Ms. Moon. I just want to express my appreciation to the PTAG members and the staff for it's clearly some tough discussions, and appreciate that you all are framing this decision and these recommendations to the council for us to make a decision here in the next month, I believe. So thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments from council members?
Stacy Brewster. I would echo that sentiment, Councilman Pamplin. I appreciate all of the work put in by staff and members of the PTAG in considering all of the information that needed to be processed for that. The 39 nests is a easy decision. Consensus was made. It sounds like habitat and nest availability were identified. I support that decision. As for the nests B through F, again, having read through all of the materials and appreciating the robust discussion and deliberation by the PTAG, I agree with the recommendation from staff to stick with the 2-mile radius buffers on those nests.
Right. Thank you both, Council Member Pamplin and Council Member Brewster and John, for supporting this recommendation. So based on council discussion, staff will prepare.
Council members.
Oh,
Council Levitt has his hand raised. I believe one other.
Yes, I also want to echo what the previous two council members said. I'm supportive of the staff recommendation, and I deeply appreciate all of the technical work that went into both the PTAG and FSEC staff coming to these conclusions. So yeah, just wanted to share my sentiment. Thank you.
Ms. Barker, Ms. Brewster, can you tell me whose hand is up? My screen is
Yes, it's Elizabeth Osborne.
Council Osborne, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think everyone will sense a theme here. I also am in support of staff developing a resolution as described, consistent with the staff recommendation, and also would like to express my appreciation for the work of staff and the PTAG to provide the council with the advice that they have. I know it was a lot of work, and I'm very appreciative of that effort. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from council members for the Horse Heaven project? Thank you for letting me pass by. Yeah. Okay, are there other comments from the staff or council in response to what you've heard here from council members for Horse Heaven? And again, soon the last call on comments from the Horse Heaven council members, in case anyone changes their mind in the next minute. But staff first or council, any closing comments or questions of council's feedback?
I don't have any questions. I can summarize, though. I can provide a summary of what I heard council.
I think generally that's a good practice from a procedural standpoint.
Okay, so based on the council discussion, and I apologize for not seeing that there were hands raised online, that staff will prepare a draft resolution stating that council will implement the 0.6 mile buffer for the 39 nests on which the PTAG reached consensus. And the council will implement the 2 mile buffer for the following nests, nest A, B, C. I'm sorry, not A. I'm sorry. A is, let me retract. Staff will draft a resolution stating that the council will implement the 0.6 mile buffer for nest A. And then the council will implement a 2 mile buffer for nest B, C, D, E, and F. This draft resolution will be posted for public comment ahead of council action at the next council meeting. Sean.
One point of clarification. I believe the council indicated that they will not be making a determination on, or they're following staff's recommendation to not suggest a determination on nest A.
Yes, correct. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you for tracking that. Anything else?
Restatement, since understandably we've had a little, churn in the restatement. Did we capture it all, Amy?
I think you've captured it all, and it will be in our draft resolution to you. Yeah.
So I think that spells out our next steps is to draft this. And we will, as Ms. Moon stated, provide this to council and for public comment ahead of the October meeting. And I believe we have additional update about a request from Scout with relation to the October meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Amy Hoffmeyer. Yeah, Scout submitted a letter to FSEC requesting a special meeting to make this decision as soon as possible, this decision that we've just been discussing. But staff will need some time to prepare that draft resolution and post for comment. So in looking at the council's availability ahead of the regularly scheduled October 15th meeting, it may be difficult to gather a quorum of council members to vote. So if the council would like to and are able to move existing commitments around, staff can work to schedule something at the end of the week prior to the regularly scheduled October council meeting. So that would be like potentially a meeting on October 9th or 10th. If the council wants to support that or wants to meet.
Okay, well, council, any initial feedback? I realize you may need to look at calendars or reflect on that rather than here in the public session. I would note that either way, how that relates to public comment periods should not be taken lightly, obviously. So I guess I would just observe procedurally, knowing what that comment plan would look like for an earlier date versus October 15th would be important to do very quickly, if not here today. But more importantly, Council for the Horse Heaven Project, any further feedback to Amy Moon or Amy Hoffmeyer's comments and questions? Council Brewster.
I would say if we need the meeting prior to the October regularly scheduled meeting, I would be able to make myself available if needed.
Council Pamplin.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I'm just completely understand the project proponent's request for a special meeting, October 10th versus October 15th. I just don't think is, in the scheme of timelines here, the 5 days is necessary to schedule a special meeting. I know my calendar is completely slammed. And so I'd be asking if we do something, it would be an after hours meeting. And I'm fine with that. And I'm sorry if that's inconvenience for others, but 5 o'clock meetings are great for me. My schedule's usually pretty open. But having said that, this is also an opportunity for the public comment. And so rather than having an additional public comment period outside of another timeline, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze there. So unless there's just a complete traffic jam on your agenda for October at the regularly scheduled meeting, I suggest we just have this decision come forward at the regular October meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, councils. Are there other online council members who wish to comment? Thank you, Council Brewster. Technical issue here on my computer, it looks like. Seeing none. Okay. I think that concludes feedback to the staff on Horse Heaven. Any other comments or questions of staff to the council for Horse Heaven?
I don't have anything further.
Okay. Then we will conclude the Horse Heaven project discussion. And before we adjourn, I had one update from a council membership standpoint that I wanted to turn this to Council Levitt from the Department of Ecology to share a few updates on his membership of the council. So, Council Levitt.
Thank you, Chair. This is Eli Levitt, Ecology's current council member. As of October 1st, Ecology has put forth a recommendation for a new council member. That will be Blake Nelson. He's a section manager in Ecology's solid waste management program. I just want to take a moment to say thank you for the honor and privilege of serving as a council member. I appreciate the work of the council, Chair Beckett, Chair Drew in the past, and others who have helped me through this process of being a council member. I do really think the role that we serve is an important role, bringing our agency expertise and knowledge and trying to apply it to all of these proposals as well as current projects. I'm hopeful that the council will continue with FSEC staff to look at the public comment process and making sure that people feel both heard and seen through that public comment process, whether it's meetings in person or written public comment. So we've been looking at that lately, and I do think some of the improvements we're putting on paper should be quite helpful. I do also want to briefly advocate that I hope the council and FSEC staff continue to do site visits and get out regularly to those places where projects are proposed or even ongoing. I think it's an excellent way to make sure we're understanding everything about a project, as well as getting to know community members and leaders and those who are interested and or concerned in projects. This site visit tradition, it goes back a long time. When I first started at Ecology, Hedia Adelsman, once a council member for Ecology, mentored me briefly, and I remember her coming back with just the stories of riding in vans and minivans, buses to go to various places in the state and meet with people one-on-one. And that's a really important part of our process, getting to know people in the communities. So again, thank you for the privilege of serving on the council, and I wish everyone the best of luck as we continue this process moving forward.
Council Levitt, thank you very much for your service, as well as the update and update on Blake Nelson beginning to serve on October 1st on the FSEC Council as part of as the Department of Ecology's representative. And I personally want to thank you for your time and helping me on board as the new chair, as well as your time and service, especially on things like Horse Heaven, I guess, given the discussion today. So that amongst many projects. So it's been a pleasure, and we thank you. If there are other council comments to add to mine, would certainly open that up for any further comment. And I should note, Eli, that Councilmember Levitt, that we will ask that you agree to return for a proper thank you at a brief future cameo appearance at one of our regular meetings. Sorry, Councilmember.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Stacy Brewster, Council Levitt, it has been a pleasure serving with you. I've appreciated your time on the council, and I'm sorry to see you go, but I look forward to meeting your replacement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just looking for other hands. Now I finally see another screen I should have been looking at earlier. All right. Well, with that, again, thank you, Council Levitt, and we wish you well in your continued juggling of many issues, which we know is certainly part of your consideration here. So we will miss you, as was said. Are there any other closing council comments before we adjourn? All right, seeing none. Ms. Hofkemeyer, any closing comments on behalf of the staff? Any? I know it's okay if not, but thought I would ask.
I don't have anything further. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Well, then we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for your time and participation today. It is 3:02 p.m., and we are now officially adjourned.